So this week I was listening to Oprah. And Oprah, she always tells this story about how she wanted to be in the color purple. And she said that she wanted to be in the color purple so bad that she basically manifested it, like with no prior training. She wasn't an actress. She had read the book and she just knew that she wanted to be in the play. So she had got a phone call that one of the producers saw her on TV and they wanted her to come audition for the part. So she goes and she auditions, and you know, she waits and she waits. She says like weeks go by, months go by, I think about 3 months, and she still hadn't heard anything back. So she decided to call the producer, and the producer says to her like, listen, I don't call you, you don't call me, I call you. Like, you know how many real actresses I have in here? Like, basically, you have some nerve calling me. So she hung up the phone and she was like, I got all these signs. Like, I feel like I took every step that I needed to take to manifest me being in this movie. And God actually had the producers call me and come in to audition. Like, why am I getting all these signs and feeling like I should be in this movie and I'm not going to get the part? So she says, oh, it must be the fat. Like, it must be because I'm fat. So she goes and she puts herself in a fat camp. Like, okay, maybe if I get rid of this fat, I'll have better luck. So she's in this fat camp. So as she was at the fat camp, she said she was running around the track and, you know, she was feeling that sorrow and that pain and that suffering. And she just started praying like, you know what? I need to let this go. Like, obviously I'm not going to get the part, and this is starting to infiltrate my life. It's starting to affect my mental health. It's starting to overwhelm me and overcome me in ways that's not healthy for me. So she said she just started praying and praying and praying like, God, please help me. Please let me let this go. She said she started running around the track and she was singing the song, I surrender. Like, she was basically saying that she wanted to surrender this idea, this thought, so that she could let it go. She said as soon as she let it go and she felt herself surrender, somebody came out on the track and was like, oh, there's somebody on the phone for you. And it ended up being one of the producers telling her that they wanted her to come in, and she got the part as Sophia. Now, mind you, I'm doing my hair and I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Like, that really resonated with me. It was like, I got a smack from Jesus. Like, I was thinking about this situation in my head, and it just all of a sudden, it all made sense. Like, I was able to connect the pieces in ways that I haven't before. So in October, I redid my bathroom. You know, I painted it. I got all new stuff. I got a new curtain. I got the little soap jar and all of that stuff. This was a part of my external change. You know, I was finding ways to pick myself up out of whatever it was I was going through. And I thought that, you know, by redecorating my house a little bit, maybe that'll start to pick up my spirit. So one day, I actually read my curtain. Like, I had got this cute curtain. I knew it had faith on it. It had hope, love, and joy. But I never actually read the actual scriptures that was on it. So the particular scripture that caught my eye said, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock on the door and it will be open to you. That's somewhere in Matthew. I'm going to find y'all the scripture. I'll write it in the description. But of course I had heard this before. But ironically, the day before I was listening to TD Jakes, and he also said the same thing. Like, you know, y'all pray and you beat around the bush. You don't talk to God directly. You don't ask direct questions. Go ahead on and ask God what you want. Ask for what you need or what you think you need. Pray on the exact thing that you want. Don't skip around and forget about yourself. Just pray directly. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come back to this. Now, just to rewind a little bit. Before I started doing my videos, like this whole past year, probably beginning around March, like things got pretty rough for me. Like, I was going through a lot mentally. All of my friends for the year before that, you know, we was all single. That was cool. Like, it didn't have to be a thing, but at the same time, everybody got a boyfriend all at the same time, except for me. I even got asked to be a bridesmaid, which I'm very proud of. But you know, when everybody around you is doing certain things and everybody's developing a certain way, it's like you set all these expectations. You start questioning, like, okay, well, where's my life supposed to be right now? My friends all got somebody, they all booed up. Like, all right, maybe I'm ready to be booed up. So this kind of became my thought process, and I was already burnt out because right before I graduated, you know, I was going to school full time. I was doing an internship twice a week. I was working 2 jobs, and I had to take care of my kids. So, you know, I was doing it all and I wasn't thinking twice about it. But, you know, after a while that starts to weigh on you. So I was really kind of burnt out from that. And then now with all of these new expectations I was setting for myself, and I was starting to question, like, okay, well, what do I do next? Like, what's there for me? I didn't have much else to focus on, and that became my world. Like, I had written like a list of goals, because that's kind of what I do when I get in a funk. Like, after a while, I won't allow myself to stay in that place, so I start writing goals, and I start, you know, doing things to kind of focus my attention on what it is I need to be doing. It was getting to the point where, like, I wrote one of my goals is get a boyfriend, and then like a month later I wrote nah, I'm good right next to it and crossed it out after like this really bad experience. So anyway, I thought that this was my sign. Like, you know, I just was listening to TD Jakes, and I walk in the bathroom and I look at the curtain and I read the scripture, and then I'm like, I can't really like ask God for a boyfriend. Like, can I do that? That feels like materialistic or like worldly. Like, I felt stupid, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. So I'm in my bathroom and I'm praying, like, and I'm not asking God directly for a boyfriend. I'm praying for some type of support, some, you know, some love, somebody to share things with, people that are genuine in my life, whether that's a friend or a boyfriend or even, you know, family, whoever. Like, I don't have that many people around me. I have 2 best friends, and I don't really need that many people. But I would like to have another person that's solid, that's in the same mindset as me, or whatever the case may be. You know, like I said, I was going through a lot, and I was kind of feeling like I needed somebody else to kind of fill that void. And I'm praying, and I'm damn near in tears. I'm like, please, Lord, send me this person. Like, that was a pivotal moment for me. And so the next morning, the very next morning, literally, I meet this guy. And, you know, in my head, I'm like, well, damn, like, does it happen that fast? You mean to tell me all this time, all I had to do was ask? Cause, like, all I had to do was pray hard about it, you know, open up, be a little emotional, and talk one-on-one with God. I didn't know it was going to be this easy. But, you know, everything that come easy usually is going to go fast. And let me tell y'all, this man, he was a social worker. Well, as far as he told me, like, he had money, he had a car, he had a house, you know, he had kids. He seemed like, you know, he was a good guy from first impression. Like, the first week was going really well, and, you know, it was a couple red flags, but I was so caught up in the idea of him and me thinking like he was heaven sent because I prayed for him, that I was willing to kind of overlook anything that was kind of off. I mean, for one, he was an atheist, so like, I'm thinking like, God, did you really just send me an atheist? Like, am I supposed to be converting this man? Like, which could have been it. Like, every person that God plants in your life doesn't necessarily mean that that's supposed to be your romantic person or your lover. You could just be the person that passes along and plants certain seeds in their heart and their minds and change them, whether it's instantly or over time. Sometimes you say things that stick with people. But, you know, in my mind, I already had it set that, you know, this dude was going to be my dude. But I'll be the one to tell you, them red flags was there from the rip. Like, and I can't even get into the specifics and the details, nor do I care to. Maybe one day I will in my, my novel. I mean, not my novel, my book. Because I am working on that. But, it's not really that important. My focus is to give y'all solutions through experience and not dwell on the issues and the problems of everybody else, because everybody has their issues and their problems. And, it is what it is. I chose to ignore them. And that's the point. But, ooh, child. The day that I had decided, like, okay, enough is enough, I said the same thing Oprah said. Like, God, is this a trick? Like, because this is evil and cruel. Like, I cannot believe that I prayed to you and asked you for a man. You sent me one, and this Negro is crazy. Like, what's good with this? I don't know what to do. Like, my faith was literally wavering. Like, I was angry. I wasn't opening my Bible app. I didn't want to hear nothing about God. Like, I was upset. I really was. But I had to realize after a while that this was my breaking point, but at the same time, it was my starting point. It was a time where I decided that enough was enough. And I realized two things. First is that I am thankful for this man, regardless of what we went through or who he was or wasn't. He said things to me that could have shattered me on the surface, but actually led me to break through and decide that I would not let another person make me doubt myself, nor feel belittled or unworthy. Like, I've been through so much, and my self-esteem and my self-worth is always kind of up and down based on external validation and thinking about what other people think about me. And I'm tired of living like that. Like, I don't want to wake up and look in the mirror and say, you know what, I need somebody else to tell me I'm beautiful in order for me to believe that I'm beautiful. I don't need somebody telling me what I am or what I'm not, or if I'm smart or if I'm not, or if the decisions and the way that I am. Like, I'm a very compassionate person. I believe in certain things being a certain way, and from the outside looking in, somebody else might think that's not realistic, but I want to be so strong enough in who I am that I don't need nobody else to validate it. I'm going to be who I am regardless, and you could be who you are, and that's just that. I made a vow to practice forgiveness to both myself and others. I no longer want to commit myself to karma, because I've done that. I think when we don't forgive ourselves and we're not able to get past the things that we've done or that other people have done to us, we tend to commit to that karma. And even when that karma is past, we still thinking, oh, well, I deserve this. I don't deserve more. I don't deserve love. I don't deserve to be respected because of one thing that happened in the past, two things that happened in the past, and then you carry that karma. When as soon as you release it and you let it go, you wouldn't even have to be experiencing half of the things that you go through. And I'm not going to continue to commit myself to that and limit my growth and limit my ability just because I want to commit myself to this idea that I'm not worth it when I know I am. Sometimes we got to ask ourselves if we're actually ready for the blessings that are coming to us. Sometimes it takes longer for our blessings to come because we're not ready for them. Like, most likely if we do certain things or we receive certain blessings, we're probably gonna mess it up if we're not prepared for it. And I'd rather God give me all the tools that I need and put me through all the experiences that I need to go through, instead of giving me all the blessings that I want and then me messing them up because I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know how to handle a healthy relationship. I didn't know how to love myself. I don't know how to handle a lump sum of money or budget my money. I don't know how to handle this position at work that I want. Not saying that these things are particular to me, but I'm just asking y'all to reflect on the things in life that you want and how you can get there and prepare yourself when you get there, instead of just expecting the blessing to happen overnight and then you jump right in and then things fall apart. So, two, I said I was angry with God and my faith was wavering, but in all actuality, God had given me what I wanted. Like, the whole time I was waiting for someone to come along and love me and support me and be there for me and be my other half. But you know, I wasn't doing that for myself. I was waiting for somebody to show up, but I wasn't showing up for me. So God gave me those tools that I needed. You know, you can't be in a relationship with somebody else successfully. You can't be with somebody and make it work if you don't come to that relationship whole yourself. You can't be out in the world looking for somebody else to make you happy, somebody else to fulfill you. You have to come to the table already feeling fulfilled and happy, and anything anybody else brings to you should be, you know, an addition. You shouldn't be waiting for somebody else to come and do that for you. So God gave me what I needed to kind of pull myself together and start working on me and loving myself and doing what I need to do for me. I was so wrapped up in the idea of being in a relationship and being comfortable with a person, you know, kind of that middle phase of the relationship, that I was so willing to, you know, overlook everything else, whether it was red flags, whether it was things that I didn't agree with. You know, I was so ready to get to the middle that I didn't even process and do the things that I needed to do in the beginning before the relationship even began. And that's why, you know, a lot of us jump into things. We get into relationships we're never supposed to be in because we get so attached to ideas of what things could be that we don't take the time to process what things actually are. And actually